Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? When was that? I don't know. I don't remember. I talked about my worst Christmas. It's the Christmas time, so I guess I will talk about memorable Christmases, not necessarily bad. I think for the most part, I've had pretty good Christmases. I mean, the one I talked about, whenever that was in the past, was bad, and I would say that most of them since have been pretty good, or non-events, which I would classify in the good category, because that's not bad is good, right? I may have talked about this before too. I guess I was 12 or 13, maybe. Our neighbor across the street, their cat had kittens. They had 3 cats. And they decided to keep 2 of the cats. And they were all female. And I really liked one little cat, but we couldn't have another animal. We had a dog and 3 cats already. So we couldn't take on another one. My grandmother wanted a cat, so I said, "Oh, this is perfect. I will take it to my grandmother's, and when I go visit, I'll be able to, see this cat, and that way it'll kind of be mine still, I mean, because I had developed an attachment to this kitten, and we drive it down. My grandmother lived in Bryan College Station in Texas, which is about 3.5 hours south of Dallas, and so we took the kitten for Christmas time, and she loved the kitten. It was great, and we were playing with it and whatnot. And I think it was Christmas Eve. It was about 3 a.m. We hear this big crash. The little kitten, had climbed up the tree. Burton had made a video the other day about his cat climbing the tree, or afraid the cat would. Because that's what cats do. Well, this little kitten climbed up right to the top of the tree, and of course you get to the very top of the tree, it just doesn't need a whole lot of weight to tip over, and just the momentum of the cat running up the tree tipped it over, and of course made this loud crash. And my sister and I were sleeping on the fold-out couch out in the living room next to the tree, which abruptly woke us up, and my dad comes flying out of the room because it's extremely loud, and my grandmother's very upset that her ornaments are all broken and everything, and we get the tree upright, and we laugh and try to put a good spin on it, but she was upset at some of the ornaments. Not that any of them were any heirlooms or anything, but still, when we went back to see her again, and I don't know, not long after Christmas, because we used to go down there quite frequently, I asked her where the cat was, and she's like, "The cat just died." Like, how does a cat just die? She was, "I don't know. Woke up one day, the cat was dead." I was so upset. Like, I don't understand how a young cat could just be fine one day and then dead the next day. Of course, she had one of my uncles come and I think dispose of it, but I don't know. I never knew what happened to it. It seemed a little suspicious to me, like maybe she did something. Not intentionally, but I'm just wondering if somehow she accidentally killed the cat and then just said it died. I don't know. But I was very upset at this poor little kitten dying. The cat dying really wasn't part of the Christmas story. It just was right after Christmas or thereabouts. And I always sort of connect that Christmas tree falling, cat dying thing. One of my favorite Christmases was, I don't know, I was right out of college, maybe. I was 22, 23. I had a friend of mine who was actually still in college, and he lived in Montana, Wyoming. And he couldn't afford to go home for Christmas, so he was just going to hang out up in Denton where I lived, and it's where the university was. And just, the dorms closed, and he was just going to kind of float around. And I said, I want you to come to my house and spend Christmas with me and my family. And I knew him, but I didn't really know him all that well. but I couldn't stand the thought of him being alone on Christmas. It just, it was just Christmas. It's just not right. So he agreed, and I ran to the store because it was last minute, and I just bought, I don't know, 4 or 5 little, like $2 or $3 gifts. They were very, very cheap, and I felt bad about that. But when we opened gifts, I didn't want him to be sitting there without anything to open, because we would go around the room one at a time, and I just bought these dollar gifts, and I wrapped them, and so every so often I would, when it got to be, I guess, I don't know whose turn, I just said, here's a gift, and made it his turn. And that just, years later, he said that really meant a lot to him. So that meant a lot to me, that I could help him have a good Christmas. And so that made my Christmas better, doing that for him. So I look at that Christmas fondly, because it was just, I was able to make his Christmas better. And it was going to suck balls with, nothing and nobody to celebrate with, or any gifts to open. Not that, like I said, these were any kind of real gifts. And I said, I'm sorry, these gifts are so, but I just wanted to be able to open something, and he really appreciated that, and so that was nice. And I always think about him around Christmas time. We sort of lost touch after a few years, and I think he moved back to Wyoming. So he was just a neat guy, and I was glad I knew him, and glad I could share my Christmas with him. So that was a good Christmas. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.